Welcome to the Start Something Show. Join world-renowned experts, change agents, and everyday folks who have done the amazing. All here to help you start something incredible. Now it's time to step out, live your perfect day, and create a legacy with your host, Tina Dietz.
Hey Superstarters, this is Tina Dietz and welcome to the Backstage Pass. Today we are welcoming Jill Fischer, one of our beautiful experts here at Start Something, who is going to be sharing with us some juicy knowledge and information, going deeper than average on the surface information, what you know about hypnotherapy and NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Processing. Jill Fischer is the owner of a really fabulous hypnotherapy clinic out in Canada, but she works worldwide with clients. You can check out her website at powerfulhypnotherapy.com. But really, Jill is an incredible speaker, an incredible coach, and she's developed a very cool system of combining hypnotherapy and NLP. It's called MindReset technology, and it creates a really effective treatment for everything from fear of public speaking to addictions and everything in between. So she has shared the stage with people like Neal Donald Walsh, who authored Conversations with God, Don Miguel Ruiz, who author of The Four Agreements, and her work has just been all over the place. So I'm really pleased to have Jill with me today. Jill, thanks for joining us here on the Backstage Pass.
Thank you, Tina. I am delighted to be here.
It is super cool. And now I want to jump right into your work because I think there is a lot of misinformation out there about both hypnotherapy and NLP. So could you break it down a little bit and give us the real scoop on kind of the basics of what these two bodies of work are?
Absolutely. I will give you the skinny.
Yes.
So hypnotherapy, if you even see it in the word, right? Hypno and therapy. So it's using hypnosis inside of therapy. And so all those topics that you listed, and really any topic you can address with hypnotherapy. And what's misleading out there is the stage hypnosis, or when you see hypnosis being done on TV, it often is glamorized. And, for the entertainment factor, it's almost like they just gong you on the head and boom, you're out in this trance and they take over your mind and then you're at the mercy of the person doing it to you. And that's inaccurate. It looks pretty cool. It's fascinating, but you're actually never at the mercy of who is hypnotizing you. When you're in a relaxed state, like meditation, it's the same sort of state when you're in a hypnotic state where you're not quite asleep, you're not quite awake. And that's where your brain is more open to suggestion. And so it's easier to shift your perspective on something. And it will always be in the framework of what you want. So somebody couldn't hypnotize you to go and rob a bank unless you were okay with stealing. Then they could.
Some flexible morality there, yes.
Now, NLP, neuro-linguistic, I think you said processing or programming or patterning. I've heard all those different P words.
I have as well. That's why I just say NLP because I forget,
Yeah, NLP, yeah. So the neurology, the neuro and linguistic, the phenomenon of language and the power of word, and then patterning or processing, really practice. There's another P for it. With practice, a certain way of thinking gets ingrained over and over again. And so NLP, it's often used, it's being taught for sales, in coaching, therapy, making presentations, even management of staff, where things like seating, where you might introduce, you did it actually already. Can I let
go right ahead. Yes, that's true. I did.
Yeah, you did. When you introduced me, you mentioned my website. And so that seeds for people to go to my website. And then if we would do it again at the end of which is likely predictable, at the end of this talk, it's just a really quick little drop so that it's landed in people's brains. And then it's easier to hear it later. So seating is part of NLP, pacing, mirroring, body posture, matching. So there can be visual NLP. There can also be NLP in the words that you choose. So visual NLP would be things like where you match their body posture, whoever you're talking with, and you create a similar body posture to what they are. So if they have their legs crossed, you might cross your legs as well. And what that does is it builds subconscious trust and rapport. And people are often not aware that you're doing this. And if you do it too much, it's kind of creepy.
Yes, it can definitely get creepy. But at the same time, it's also a very, very powerful set of tools. And I'm sure people can learn more at powerfulhypnotherapy.com, right? So
you bet.
Yeah.
That was another seed. Good one.
See how that works?
You're awesome.
No, that's funny. So yeah, because the brain is and you and I are both brain nerds. We love talking about this, right?
Oh, totally.
Brain nerds unite.
Like candy.
Yes.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yeah. It's like a giggle fest in here today. Well, it's all right. So now let's take it a step further. Talk to us some more about MindReset technology. What happens when you combine these sets of tools to use for therapeutic purposes?
Well, it's almost like being put on the fast track. So what caught my attention with hypnotherapy is how fast you can move through things that what I experienced was much slower with different styles of coaching and taking classes. I found hypnotherapy, it's like being put on the fast track because you can go directly to the source of whatever's creating the behavior and shift it there. With NLP it's almost like putting your fast track on steroids. So NLP, because you're building up trust and rapport quite quickly, and it's on a subconscious level, it's almost like you've got, I want to say, superhero powers.
I like
and
that.
use this for good, not evil, right? So you have access with the hypnosis into the subconscious programming. And then with NLP, you can move very quickly within the programming that's there. So that's where it excels the process, where in a short amount of time, you can move through something that might have been holding you back your whole entire life. You might have had decades of this kind of patterning.
So would it be accurate to say that, to kind of simplify it, that hypnotherapy creates the opening and then the NLP in combination with it creates faster integration?
That's beautiful.
Okay. All right. I thought that's what I was hearing. I wanted to make sure that was actually accurate.
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, when we're talking about becoming an entrepreneur, one of the things we can always count on when you start a business, there are two things in life that will bring any crap to the surface. My professors, when I was in graduate school, would have said pathology, but it doesn't necessarily have to be pathology. It can be anything that is kind of in your way, or that's, crap. So two things in life that are going to bring up all of your stuff. One is having a child. The second one is starting a business or going through a massive change of some kind. That's going to bring many, many, many things to the surface. So it sounds like in that particular case, this could be beneficial for folks who are making significant changes in their life to help kind of ease that passage.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Mostly people come to me when they're in some sort of transition, and there's some kind of barrier there that they want to break through because they want to create their life newly. And so, especially when you're shifting from working a 9-to-5 job into being an entrepreneur, there's a mind shift that needs to take place for the success in starting your own business. And I know you know this stuff.
Of course, yeah.
Of course, because you've been through it and you talk about it all the time. And so with hypnotherapy and NLP, we can go in and see, if there's programming from young childhood around confidence. I actually was working with a woman yesterday, and she had an older sister. I won't give you too many specifics just to keep her privacy. Mm-hmm. But her older sister, the way she saw it is that her older sister hated her from birth, right? As soon as she came home from the hospital being born, her sister ran away from home because she was jealous and angry that a new child was brought into the house. And to realize that, this had been her entire life. So now she's mid-40s. She's carried this weight her entire life, that her sister has hated her. And in our conversation in the hypnotherapy, she was able to see that her sister was actually carrying some weight of her own. She had a twin that died at birth, and so her older sister had likely, we don't know for sure because her sister wasn't on the session with us, but likely her sister had all this guilt or trauma right from birth that her twin had died. And so she was reflecting that to her younger sister. And so her way of, her behavior had nothing actually to do with her younger sister. It was all about this hurt that was likely unresolved. And so to shift to use hypnotherapy to go to these memories in the first place, and then even shifting your perspective to see, oh, this actually had nothing to do with me, opens up a whole new level of compassion and love and healing and forgiveness for that sister relationship.
And that can really change many things very, very quickly. Yeah, in terms of having that opening. And then do you tend to find that in order to support the shifting of any habits or behaviors associated with that programming, those beliefs, that additional tools are helpful?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this was causing a lot of stress in her life, in her business. And so, step one is looking at the source and healing that. But sometimes, you're in the middle of the anxiety and you just need to lower your anxiety so that you can move through your day and what you're doing and who you're being with. And a really quick technique I can give you and your listeners, I teach this to a lot of people because it's so fast and it's really effective and it's simple. So if there's a time where you're feeling a lot of anxiety, if you just take a...
Most of us do.
Yeah.
I can definitely admit to that.
So it's taking a moment just to pause and notice, where do you feel that in your body? So it might be your throat, it might be your stomach, it might be your chest, it might be your head, could be your hand, could be anywhere. Anytime you have an emotion, you'll have a body sensation for it. Your body will not lie. Your brain will try and trick you all the time, but your body, it's a yes or no. And so to notice where you feel it in your body, so say, for example, it's in your throat. Then imagine that there's a balloon above your head. And this balloon, it's like a helium balloon, it's floating. And it has the ability to vacuum this feeling out of your throat through the top of your head up into this balloon. Almost as if it's pulling you taller as it's leaving your body. And you might notice what color that balloon is. It might be blue or green or yellow. It could be any color. It just helps you visualize, to imagine the color and feel that feeling leaving your body as it's getting pulled out of your body into that balloon. And then imagine looking up at the balloon and it seals itself into a knot so it can hold everything in there. And then just simply blow at it. Just imagine you go, whew, and the balloon starts to float away from you. Further and further. Further and further. Until it completely disappears. And then when it's gone, imagine yourself there without the balloon. And just notice what color comes to mind. Might be yellow, purple, green, blue, red. Any color. And imagine that color moves through your body. And especially the area that you identified before. So if it was your throat, imagine that color, especially healing that area in your throat. And you can do this in 2 seconds, 3 seconds. I use it before being interviewed. I wasn't anxious today being interviewed with you, Tina, because I love you so much and it's all good.
I did it just now as you were talking, this is great.
Isn't it powerful?
Yes.
It's so simple.
Yes.
It's so simple.
I love that.
Yeah, it disappears anxiety. Like before going on stage or making a presentation or meeting that cute guy, just boom. And you don't have to tell anybody. You just do it.
And that's something I'd like to reiterate something to all of you out there, my darling superstarters, is so many times in life, as in all the things we're doing, we want to make it hard. We want to make it complicated. We want to make it arduous to shift something. And it doesn't have to be that way. As a matter of fact, it's not generally that way. If we take a few moments to concentrate on shifting it, we are so freaking brilliant that we can shift that way of being. We can let go of that anxiety. We can move through these things in the moment. And then there's deeper work to do, another time in session with a coach, with a hypnotherapist, with, whatever those tools, that team you're building to support you in having this life, this business, this transition, the abundance, prosperity, everything that you want. But in the moment, as things come up, you can shift it quickly. So this is a phenomenal tool. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Jill. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're most welcome.
You're really fabulous.
Welcome. It's like my favorite.
So in terms of your work with entrepreneurs, what do you tend to find are some of the biggest blocks that tend to need to be cleared to help people become successful? Confidence was one you mentioned.
Yeah, confidence, people pleasing, and really connecting with your own value, like what you just addressed, Tina, right? And sometimes we have such a strong belief, because it's culturally held, that to be valuable, I have to work and suffer. Like I have to work really hard and struggle, and then I can be valuable and charge a lot. And if something's easy, then I should maybe give it away or undercharge. And so being an entrepreneur, it's the perfect setting to identify what's unresolved in your subconscious. Because when you're powerful, your business expands rapidly and you attract clients like you're this ultra magnet, because they want to be with you, because they feel that power and they like it. And they want what you have. But if you're wrestling with stuff, that's where it can almost be the opposite, where you become a repellent and people don't want to be around you. I can see it when I'm in my stuff. All of a sudden, my clients are rescheduling.
Yes, exactly.
And I get, okay, there's something in me that's unresolved. So I go and get coaching or hypnotherapy, or I do something to process through and clear that. And then all of a sudden, when I'm powerful and I'm really in my game, it's very reflective in how my clients are responding to me, how they're moving through their own stuff. So the delivery of me being in my power and connected to the value of what I offer, it expands to all the people that I work with.
Yeah,
and so.
Complex. Well, I was going to just insert that, all complex systems need tuning. Yes. And we are complex systems. We need tuning. It's just the way it is. There's nothing wrong with it.
Right. Yeah. Like I have to keep putting gas in my car and doing oil changes. Nothing wrong with my car. It's just what it needs.
Exactly. If we ran out of gas on the side of the road, would we blame the car?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay, that may be a bad example. But when we say, this car, it's just, it's so unworthy. And, I'm just, this car just can't ever do anything right. And it's never going to do anything right. This car is a failure, Go put gas in the car. Yeah. So you were saying.
So confidence, just to answer your question, confidence is often connected to actually being connected to the value that we offer and who we are, and that we are the perfect person to be in the position that we're in, and to uniquely, nobody else can deliver what we can deliver, because everyone is so unique and our experiences are unique, our views are unique. And there are groups of patterning, of course, but our individual life, nobody else has that. Nobody else has that DNA. Nobody else has the way we have it. And so who we are as an individual is unique. And so there is no competition, and really connecting with the value of what you're doing in your business. And sometimes it's creating evidence for yourself, right? Like looking at your testimonials or looking at how your products help other people. And even looking at your why. Why are you doing this in the first place? And what's the difference that it's making? So you're very connected to your value, and then that expands naturally into your business.
And that makes complete sense. It's that sense of flow, right? It's just everything working as a whole.
And it can come down to like that example with the woman, right? Where she felt bad because her sister, she had this view of her sister from birth, had nothing to do with business, but it had everything to do with being connected to her own value.
Yeah, because it's all about relationships. All business is about relationships one way or another. It always comes down to that. I want to switch gears for just a second here, because I know that being a fellow brain nerd, I have a deep interest in finding out more about these topics. Are there any books, websites, resources, or even training programs that you would recommend if somebody wanted to find out more about hypnotherapy or NLP, if they want to dig a little deeper in this area?
That's a great question.
Like, is there a good, like, is this any certifying bodies that might be good resources?
There are, it's not called NLP, but the most practical and effective NLP training that I've gone through is a program that's offered through Landmark. Landmark Worldwide is a training development course or series of courses around the world. And one of their advanced programs is the Introduction Leaders Program. And they don't call it NLP, but it is.
I never really thought about it that way, because I've gone through that program and those courses myself, and I've been an introduction leader. So now that I'm thinking about it, like, oh, I hadn't really thought about that.
Recreation, right?
Recreation, the skill of recreation,
Yeah. And that, because it's so practical as well, because within that training, you also, Landmark's trainings are exceptional. And in the Introduction Leaders Program, it's almost like a practicum, because you're working with people and getting coaching at the same time and designing your talks. And it's a really all-encompassing program.
It's true. I learned how to design courses in that program, and also an awful lot of speaker and communication training and all of that.
Yeah.
I never thought about the NLP part. Yeah.
A lot of highly successful people that are in the speaking industry have gone through Landmark courses.
Very true. Very, very true. Now, are there, just in the realm of business or personal development, any favorite books that you could recommend?
Superbrain. Love that one.
Ooh. I love it. That's awesome. Couple more quick questions. So besides the wonderful exercise that you gave everyone, that I'm going to say, please try that on, use that this week. For everyone who is out there and moving things forward and creating this life and business that is the true expression of who they are in the world, anything that you would recommend, some action steps for people to take this next week?
Oh, absolutely. What I find is highly effective in being connected to the gift of who you are and the contribution of who you are to the world is, the first thing would be to be connected to who you are, is to look at who do you want to be. And so if you write down, just get a piece of paper or on your phone, however it works for you, and write down all of the empowering aspects that you already are and that you would like to be. And to phrase them inside of I am statements. I am statements are incredibly powerful. There's a lot of science around the power of I am, which I won't get into right now because that's a whole nother body of topics.
It's a whole other body of work. It's cool stuff.
Yeah, it's great. But, simple statements, you want them short so it's easy to remember. So things like I am beautiful, I am healthy, I am lovable, I am courageous, I am resourceful, I am wealthy, things like that. So if you look at what you already are and what you aspire to be, and to write that list out and then take that list and speak it into your phone or some kind of recording device. The phone, most people, if you have a smartphone, you have a voice memo app in there. And to speak these I am statements into your phone, and then when you go to sleep at night, or if it's on your computer, to play it while you sleep. While you're asleep, when you're just falling asleep, you're in a hypnotic state. And then when you're sleeping, you're kind of surfing through your subconscious. That's where your dreams are. And so if you have, I used to do this with training I still do actually, when I'm learning something or I want to memorize something or really ingrain a talk, I'll record it on my phone and then I'll play it through the night as I sleep. And I'll just have it on loop. It'll just go and go and go. So that it's giving you a repeating pattern for your subconscious so that it's easy for you to move into those words in reality.
That's a very cool idea. Very, very cool idea. I like that a lot.
I have one more. Do I have time for one?
Yeah, go for it, please.
Okay.
Bring it on.
So now this is a derivative of what we learned in the course in Landmark that we just spoke about. So you take your list and you go to a large mirror. Usually the mirrors in bathrooms work. And you look into your own eyes. When you look into your own eyes in a mirror, or you look into somebody else's eyes, mirror neurons reflect back to you. So you're really addressing your subconscious programming. I love the brain nerd side of this.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, I know. Woo. And now looking into your own eyes, you're seeing your own neurology. Not that you can actually see it consciously, but it's reflected back at you. And by saying these words, I am beautiful, I am lovable, you're displacing any opposing neurology about that. And so if you take your list and you go to the bathroom mirror and you look into your own eyes and you say this out loud, the more senses that are involved when you're reprogramming your subconscious, the more effective it is. So by saying it out loud, you have a vibration in your body, your ears are hearing it, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, so there's a visual documentation of what you're doing. And to do this through your list, so you might look down at your list and then look back into your eyes in the mirror. And to do this for 2 minutes, repetitively, over and over again. And you might need to warn people in your home. So just prepare people so that they know what you're doing. You want to get as excited as you can while you're saying this to yourself. So you might be jumping up and down. You might be yelling. You might be giggling. And what we're doing there is creating emotion tied into these words so that emotionally it's like creating crazy glue to get to, or a major attraction to get to that neurology.
It moves it much faster than just saying it on its own.
It does.
It does. Yes, absolutely. And I know exactly the exercise you're referring to here. So it's one of my absolute favorites. It's one of my absolute favorites. And, going the bonus round, one of the things I'll say about this is that if this is a really fun one to actually do with your kids as well, and to get them in the habit. Because those of you listening, how committed I am to the next generation growing up inside of this space of being unlimited. And so having your children getting used to being expressive about the I am statements, talking, let them talk to themselves. It's okay. They have voices in their head anyway. It's all right. So, just have them talk the good stuff into the mirror, or even do it with them, give them things to say and have them repeat it back. It's really powerful because their brains are even more plastic than ours, and starting them at this young age can really help them develop some very powerful patterns that'll stay with them into the future. Love it. Oh, and they love it. Like getting excited and yelling into the mirror, I am a fun person. I have, I'm a friendly and helpful person. I am beautiful. It's just like really a good time.
Yeah. And you instill this in them and they will take it on like a sponge.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you do it with them and looking into each other's eyes, then you've got like superhero powers in there too. Right? Because then you've got the neurology connection.
Exactly. And I know that for myself, sometimes like looking in the mirror, looking at even though I've done this 18 billion times ever so often, if I'm in a space of meh like bleh. Mm-hmm. And the idea of like looking in the mirror into my own eyes and telling me how wonderful and beautiful and awesome I am, not super appealing. But if I can, actually I'll do anything for my kids. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, let's kill two birds with one stone here, and let's all, make it a family affair. So whatever works, and that's kind of the bonus round.
It's actually, that's beautiful. It's very motivating to, when you look at mother bear instincts with your kids, we want the best for our kids. It's how we're wired naturally. We want them to excel. And so that's beautiful what you just created there, Tina.
It's a good time. I highly recommend it. It's really, really fun. I have kids all the time, my own kids, other people's kids do the perfect day exercise that I give everybody, all the super starters as well. Because if you can start creating your future when you're young and you get into that habit of that creative muscle of connecting your future with your present and taking those steps and bridging that gap, who knows? Who knows what's possible then? Mm-hmm. If you have that, for expanding that self-expression and what's possible at that young age, rather than constricting that box.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Yeah, so I know you and I could probably build out an entire course around this, like in the next hour.
Stay tuned.
They're so good, All right, I got one more question for you, my dear, and you've been so generous with your time. What's the legacy you want to leave?
Oh boy, joy and celebration. That's inside the work. That's why I do what I do. Is that people are fulfilled. It's similar to what I think you're talking about with your perfect day exercise. When people are free of their constraints, then they can fully, enjoy their life and express themselves. And that's where joy happens, like true joy, where, you're just so excited for your day, like a 2-year-old jumps out of bed and can't wait for being in life. And the legacy I want to create is that people live a life naturally in joy. And, it's an expression. If I look at I have 2 children, my son's 13 and my daughter's 10. And when they're in their state of joy, creation happens and everything's flowing. And, I just want to like glue myself to them. If we had a world like that, yeah.
It's a world worth creating. It's a world worth stepping into. It's a world worth fighting for. Standing for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can be.
Exactly. Starts with all of us, right?
It does.
It does. Oh, thank you so much, Jill, for joining us. And can anyone contact you? Then just have a chat with you through powerfulhypnotherapy.com?
Absolutely. There's a contact form there. So if you go to the website, powerfulhypnotherapy.com, this was our seeding that we did at the beginning, by the way. NLP in total loop. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Thank you, Jill. Thanks for joining us on the Backstage Pass.
You bet. It's been super fun.
It always is with you, my dear. Well, super starters, we have another week here with actionable items for you to take this week. Use these exercises, take these actions, incorporate it in. Everything is very to the point, very easy to integrate into your weekly schedule. Give it a try and let us know how it goes for you. We always want to have your feedback here at Start Something, and you can always email us at info@thestartsomething.show.com or on the website. Just send us a note through the Contact Us page. We will see you next week.